This episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All Star Vacation Homes. And if you're looking to get a lot of room in your next Walt Disney World stay, well, now why not stay at All Star Vacation Homes? They're going to be offering you lots of great amenities really close to Walt Disney World property. You're going to get a huge house with full bedrooms, full kitchen, movie room, game room, private pool. These are the sort of typical amenities you're going to find at an All Star Vacation Home. And again, very, very close to Walt Disney World property. I love staying there. Why don't you go check them out? Go to www.allstarvacationhomes.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
I'm Matt Hochberg from StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, last week was your birthday, so a very belated happy birthday, Mike.
Why, thank you very much.
Do anything special for the big day?
I spent my 21st birthday just relaxing and having a good day. What?
Gotcha.
Relaxing is funny?
Oh, no. There's nothing funny about relaxing.
There
It's
you
very
go.
serious. Also joined on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Let's proceed to the rough road test.
Test track.
Test track.
Test track. Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome to the show, Annette.
Hey, nice to be back.
And on today's show, we're continuing our look at the holidays in Walt Disney World. This past Friday, we did an episode about Animal Kingdom and the resorts. And earlier in episode 796, we did holidays at Epcot. And even earlier than that, we did episode 795, holidays at the Magic Kingdom. And we're going to wrap things up here with holidays in Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's right. We saved the best for last. And there's Disney's Hollywood Studios has already begun celebrating the holidays with their annual Osborne Family Spectacle of Dancing Lights, which started on November 8th and will run through January 3rd, 2011. And before we get into some changes that are different this year, I thought we would kind of reminisce about the Osborne Lights in general. I'm a little biased, as you might imagine, but they are my favorite part of the holidays in Walt Disney World. It's a real awesome display, if I may say so, and I really enjoy them quite a bit. Newell, give me your thoughts on the Osborne Lights.
Osborne Lights, it's still a favorite. It's still really a favorite. I'm not as big a fan of it being where it is now as when it was on Residential Street. Mm-hmm. I thought that was more, I don't want to say traditional, but it was more homey feel. Like, you actually felt like you were walking around in the neighborhood and all the different houses. I liked it much better there. Obviously, they took that down to accommodate Lights, Motors, Action. So the second best place to put it is where they have it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think the Residential Street time was great. But I do think they've adapted pretty well to the streets of America and putting them up there. And I think the upgrades they've done in the past couple of years with switching over to LED lights and some of the changes that they've implemented since then, I think it's really kind of it's grown now beyond just those lights that used to be on Residential Street. I think for the best. What were your thoughts on it, Scopa?
Well, I am in full agreement with you and Mike. It really got me a little upset when they were going to move them. And over the last 5 years, it's been like 5 years, I guess, since they've done it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, I've begun to appreciate them more and more, and they've worked really hard to win me over. I think that they've added a few touches here and there, which are pretty interesting. There are some subliminal jokes that are displayed in the windows that if you take a look and you look at them, they're like rebus puzzles, I guess. Those are pretty cool. I think the music has really made a difference, and I think the dancing aspect of the lights really has done things. I know that when I ran through at the Wine and Dine half marathon and they had them on, I got a thrill. The first time I heard that they were going to put them there, I thought it was going to be National Lampoon, and I didn't think I'd like them. And then a few weeks ago, I was back down there, and I ran from Boardwalk to right behind the the studios. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were on again, and I got a little thrill. And so, they've grown on me. I think that I don't think I've accepted them as much as Disney has figured a way to win me over. And I tip my hat to them for doing that.
Annette, what are your thoughts on the Osborne Lights?
I'm in a total agreement with you guys. I liked it better when there was a little more space.
Yeah.
The crowd seemed to be a little, maybe it was just fewer people coming, but it seemed to be spread out, so a little better flow of the crowd. But it's something you have to do. I have to do every year. I have to go, and I have to stand and get shoved and pushed while I stand in a certain spot and, watch the lights go. And, there's just nothing like standing there and listening to the carols play and the music, especially when they're dancing with the carols. That's just, I love looking for all the new hidden Mickeys because they always seem to throw a couple extras in every year.
Yeah, the music really is quite a huge part of the story. Actually, I alluded to some changes this year, and they did make a few changes. One was they've added these really cool digital windows to one of the buildings on the streets of America, and basically the windows look like it's snowing, like they display snow falling. It's kind of a cool little effect, and it's totally unexpected. I was figuring it was going to be more of the same this year. And they added this feature, and really everyone that I had seen around me thought that was the coolest part of the whole light, especially people who had seen the lights in previous years. They thought it was a really, really interesting thing to do, and it's kind of, it's that Disney, tweaking things a little bit every year and keeping things fresh. And I thought that was really, really cool. The other big change was they added a new song, and the song is from the Phineas and Ferb Christmas special, which is coming up later in the year. It's Christmas is starting now. I didn't know the song, didn't know what it was, but they have this little thing, and before the song plays, they have Phineas and Ferb and or Dr. Doofenshmirtz talk about something. They do like a little quick bit, and then they play the song. But, it doesn't detract. It's just part of it. They still have, the classics. They have the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is really, really cool to be able to see for the lights. And I just think the dancing part of it is so very cool. But I want to go back to actually something, Mike, you mentioned it first, Scopa, and Annette, you touched upon it, and that's the details in the Osborne Lights, because you can't just see the Osborne Lights. It's not just something to be like, oh, look, they're lights. There's a story and there's details here to be found, and they range all over the place. Mike, what are some of the details that you remember from year after year as sticking out in your mind as some cool things to definitely look out for? Well,
one of the things that I think I remember when we had one of the show directors on, he talked about how they when maybe I don't know where it was from. Maybe I found it out myself, but when they had packed out all the Osborne lights from Mr. Osborne's collection, mm-hmm. When they unpacked them, they found a light that was left over from Halloween. It was the Black Cat.
Yes.
And they could have very easily said, we're not going to use it, but they decided to use it, so they hide it. Although I think it's been in the same place the last 2 years, but that's a little piece of Halloween. That's there, and that's kind of cool. I also heard this past summer from a cast member that there is one combination of lights in one of the windows that if you look at it and you study it, there's a hidden phrase. I don't remember what it was, but from what I understand, it's on the building as you're walking, as you're facing the New York City streets, as you're looking down, and Lights Mode Action will be to your left. This building is on your right. And there's something in one of those windows that's a little puzzle that everybody should probably, if you get a chance when you go down this year, take a look and see if you can figure out what that puzzle is.
Yeah, you mentioned the Black Cat, and for those who are looking for it, I don't want to ruin it for you. I found it this year. But I will give you a hint. Here's my hint. I hear San Francisco is nice this year, and you'd be dead wrong to look anywhere else. Ooh. So that's your riddle of where it could be. Should have said riddle me this before I said that. But anyway, Nat, what's some of your favorite elements of the Osborne Lights?
I already told you, I just really love the dancing part of it. And I got to say, Mom and I have danced the streets a couple of times under the lights. But one thing that I've done with my parents several times, which, I get a kick out of talking to my kids about the fact that, we used to have to run up and turn the TV knob for Mom and Dad. We were the remote guys. I always have to go. There's one window I have to go to, and it's the window with the TV going, the black and white TV and the kids. And, that's one of those reminiscent things where, generation after generation there, Mom and I have talked several times about, do you remember a black and white TV? I'm like, no, I really don't. But that's one that I always have to do. But I do like to go around, and I've done this with the kids. We like to see how many hidden Mickeys we can find. Yeah, because they are there all over the place.
There's so many of them. I don't even think they have a count anymore. And I know that we had the show director for the Osborne Lights, John Phelan, on this show. I think it was episode 400 and something. Check the WWDay wiki at www.com/wiki for more information about that.
It'll be in the show notes.
Philip, I'm sure will put that in there. So thank you, Philip, in advance. He had mentioned that they every year they kind of toy with the things and add more hidden Mickeys in and add, they try to keep it fresh. It's not the same thing over there. That's kind of cool that you can always, there are some hidden Mickeys that are always in the same places every year, but there's always some new ones that you have to look for. And that's always a fun part of the Osborne Lights, is that looking for the detail, also make sure you look at the balconies, because the balconies of many of the places tell different stories. You've got like a surfer, there's a sea captain. There's lots of different stories being told. So it's important to not just look at the lights and enjoy them for what they are, but also to look for the stories that Disney, hides there.
One year, Matt, I was going down. What's the name of that street that has the red canopy on it?
San Francisco Street is what I call it. San
Francisco Street. Well, I can remember being there. I don't know if I was with Len or was with someone, and I was trying to catch all the detail, and I looked in one window and I saw a lamp, and I said, that lamp. And then I remembered it looked exactly like the lamp that is showcased in A Christmas Story. It looks like a leg.
Yes, it is.
A fishnet stocking. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, what other things are out here that I haven't checked? So once I discovered that, from that moment on, every time I go down, and I watched, and I'm walking through the streets, I almost forget to look at the lights because I'm trying to look at the other things, the little things that people may forget, may not see.
Absolutely. I mean, you really got to take your time. I mean, there are huge crowds there, like Annette mentioned before, but you know what? It's okay because it's kind of paced to go to a slow pace and give yourself plenty of time to enjoy those details. It's not something you just run through, on your way to Toy Story. This is something you should be able to enjoy quite a bit.
And especially if you're on the outskirts, if you're looking at the details in the buildings, most of the crowd is in the center of the street.
Right. And another cool thing about the Osborne Lights is it does snow during the Osborne Lights. They pump this soap snow down from the
best
roofs.
Kind of snow. Yep.
The kind you don't have to shovel, right?
Yep.
The lights turn on at 6:00 p.m. That's dusk. Disney calls it dusk at 6 p.m. to the rest of the world. And they do stay on for extra magic hours. And I was trying to think of what other things that are important to mention about the lights. Newell, what's some of your favorite hidden, or not even hidden, but what are your favorite light displays from the Osborne Lights?
Oh, it was funny because I was watching your coverage the other night in Studio Central, the live coverage.
Thank you.
And Todd Perlmutter was with you, and he pointed out one of my favorite things. Actually, two of my favorite things. One of them, I don't know why it's a favorite, but is the snowman in the phone booth. I just get a kick out of that. I don't know why. It's not. It's just funny to me. I get a kick out of that. That and the barbecue. I always get a kick out of. I don't know why. It's just funny to look at.
The barbecue is cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you're infatuated with the snowman, but the barbecue thing is pretty cool. They use lights to make it look like the coals of the fire, which is a really cool effect.
Yeah, it's a nice detail.
Is that in the same spot, Matt?
It's moved this year. It's actually a different kind of grill. Did you notice that, Mike?
It was hard to see, detail because it was a webcam. It was an iPhone cam, but it looked like it was much bigger.
Yeah, it used to be like those Weber grills before.
Right, now it looks like a big propane
black ones.
gas
now
grill.
It's like it's like a traditional grill like most people have in their backyard now, like the stainless steel silver ones with the you lift up the hood
kind
of a grill. And that is a really cool one, Mike. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of detail. Scopa mentioned San Francisco Street. Lots of great detail there. Go check the windows. Look in every single one of those windows over there. There's so much to see over there. And that's definitely something, it really does make the Osborne lights, I think, so much more special. It's not just a bunch of lights because, I know that there's a lot of different places now that have either the falling snow effect or the lights in their own towns. I know that in Connecticut, there's a town that does it. But it's totally different when you actually have, Disney doing it because they add that different element to it that makes it kind of, a really special experience. As I mentioned, the lights turn on at 6. It does get pretty crowded there. My advice, if you want to avoid the crowds, actually, it gets really crowded at the beginning, like right when it turns on at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And if you can kind of wait it out a little bit, if you come back for like a half an hour, it actually, some people leave because they're like, okay, we saw the lights, now we can go eat or go do something else. Also, if you happen to be there on a Fantasmic night, the single best time to ever see the Osborne lights is during Fantasmic because everyone's in Fantasmic and it empties out. And when I say empties out, it's relatively speaking, but it's a lot less crowded. So that's a good thing. One last thing I want to say, but there is something else that goes on at the studios during the holidays, and I wanted to highlight this because I'm not sure many people know about it, and that's the Citizens of Hollywood Holiday Glee Club. Have any of you ever seen this show?
No.
Oh. No, I don't recall. No.
In the evening, they do a holiday glee club where the citizens of Hollywood, the Street Mystery characters, a few of them get up and they have to do the 12 Days of Christmas. And it's not, let's just say this, it's not the typical rendition of
not standard.
Days. Yes, exactly. It's a lot of fun and you have to go check it out. Just ask the, one of the cast members, usually around the tip board, what time they'll be out and where. But the Holiday Glee Club is a great experience. I love to be able to go through there. Ideally, I go see that first, and then I go see the Osborne lights after that. It's a lot of fun, and they do a great job with that. So you got to give kudos where kudos are due. Anything else in the studios that I missed?
The only thing I'd want to add, Matt, is that when I was there in October, I was there was one morning where I just had to waste about an hour or two, and I walked through the streets. Mm-hmm. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't crowded, and I got a chance to look at some of the lights that were up and give me an idea as to, I wonder what that's going to look like when it's lit. It's sometimes, worthwhile to, spend some time, relax, and walk through before the lights come on, just to see if you can, come across something that, I want to come back and see what that looks like later on.
Great point, Mike. Cool. Well, I think it's going to wrap it up for today. I want to remind all of our listeners that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And, we're talking about the holidays and where to go for Walt Disney World. But you know what? Nothing says a great holiday stay like an All-Star Vacation Home because you're going to be able to go to your own home, get lots of space for everybody there. No matter how many people you bring, you want to bring 4 people, you want to bring 8 people, you want to bring 16 people, they can accommodate that. And the best part, great prices. Go check them out online at www.allstarvacationhomes.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.